Hello students, welcome to AP classes and this is Abhishek. Back within the video tutorial on concept of tokens and data types part 8. In this video tutorial, we are going to cover data types. It is one of the most awaited topic and important topic in terms of examination. In ICSE examination, you are going to do programs where you have to use or where you have to know the concept of data types. To accomplish a program, you have to know in depth about data types. So, a lot to know, a lot to discuss as always, but before we begin, please subscribe my channel and like the video. In Java, whenever you try to store a value to a variable, it can be any type of value. It can be an integer number, it can be a floating point number. Floating point number means where the number which contains a decimal point or decimal value, that is called as floating point number. So it can be an integer number, it can be a floating point number, it can be a character value, it can be a string value which can contain anything. It can contain characters, it can contain numbers, it can contain spatial symbols, it can contain anything, it can contain, right? So whenever you store a value to a variable, computer cannot understand automatically what kind of value can be stored to a variable. Okay, maybe there are some other programming language where the values are automatically detected by the compiler, but especially in Java, compiler cannot specify what kind of variable it is unless and until you are not going to tell compiler that you want to store an integer value or you want to store a floating point value or something else. Here precisely you have to mention that you want to store an integer value to a variable. So when you will tell computer that look, I want to store an integer value to a variable, you have to specify it with a data type. Whenever you write data type is used to declare a variable. A variable cannot be written alone. You cannot write a. Okay, a cannot be written alone, or you cannot write a equals to 10. This is not correct. The reason is here this variable is not declared. This is only assigned with 10. We have two terms, declare and assigned. Assigned means when you put a value to a variable. Declared means when you write a data type for a variable. So here when you write a equals to 10, 10 is only assigned to a, whereas you have not declared this variable. And if a variable is not declared, remember this is going to give you an error. Compiler will never understand for what reason a is used. So please remember, whenever you write a program, first you have to declare a variable, then you have to use it. Without declaring a variable, you can never use a variable. The first thing what you are going to do, if you want to store anything to a variable, first declare it. Declare it with a data type. It can be any data type. Declare it with a data type and then try to store some value to that. It can be, you can assign some value, you can take user input. Anyways, about user input we will talk in the next topic or in the next module. So here, whenever you want to store any type of value to a variable, first you have to declare it and then you can store a value. Without declaring a variable, you can never store a value in Java. Here data type specifies that what type of value can be stored to a, right? What type of value can be stored to a, our data type specifies. Basically we have two types of data types in Java, primitive data type and non-primitive data type. First we will discuss about primitive data type, then we will move to non-primitive data type. When we discuss about primitive data type has 8 types of data types. One is byte, second one is short, third one is int, fourth one is long, fifth one is float, sixth one is double, seventh is boolean, and eighth one is character or char you can say. So total there are 8 types of data types in Java or primitive data type. Under primitive data types, 8 types of data types are there: byte, short, int, long, float, double, char and boolean. Before we are going to discuss about each and every data type, two things you have to keep in mind. This is very important. Two things you have to keep in mind, that whenever an integer value is written, whenever a non-point value is written, non-point value, when I say non-point value, that is 7, 59, 79, you can say 82, 2, 2, 7, 3, anything, any non-point value, right? Any non-point value, whenever we are going to write any non-point value, it is considered as an integer. By default, it is considered as an integer. Whenever you will write any point value, by default it is considered as double. Remember this, it is very important. The whole concept or the whole thing depends on this. Whatever I will teach you right now, these things are going to get covered. So whenever you write any non-point value, it is by default considered as an integer. By default, I am saying. And whenever you write any point value, it is considered as double. Okay, now let us start. The first one is byte. Byte size is 8-bit. In examination, you are often asked what is the size of a byte data type. So size of byte data type is 8-bit, or you can say 1 byte. 1 byte equals to 8-bit, remember. So if I say 16-bit, that means 2 byte. If I say 32-bit, that means 4 bytes. 4 byte, okay? Here, 1 byte is equals to 8-bit. Now, whenever you write a byte data type, the size is 8-bit, and here the range is -128 to +127. That means you can store a maximum value of 127 and the minimum value, that is 128. Now let us look to this with an example. Here we have a class that is data type. Class name is data underscore type, and we have written a method that is public static void main. We are going to write a data type here, that is byte. Data type name is byte, and after writing the data type, we have to write a variable. Variable can be anything. You have to remember the rules and regulations of an identifier, because we know that even variable comes under identifier. So you can call it as a variable. Precisely, you can call it as a variable, or you can call it as an identifier. We know that anything that is written by a programmer, the name is given by the programmer, are called as identifier. Here A is an identifier. Instead of A, you can write your name, you can write your parent's name, you can write here anything, but you have to follow all the rules and regulations of an identifier. Like some of the rules and regulations are, it cannot be a keyword, it cannot start with a number, it cannot contain special characters, it cannot contain space. So these are few rules and regulations of an identifier which you have to follow while declaring a variable or while declaring an identifier. When we write byte A, that shows that byte is a data type, A is a variable. Here we have declared A by the help of a data type. If you don't declare A, it will give you an error. Here we are going to write byte A equals to 10. When we write byte A equals to 10, it shows that byte is a data type, A is a variable, and 10 is a value, right? What type of value it is? It is an integer value, or you can say this is a byte value. Why do we call it as an integer value, or why do you call it as a byte value? The reason is the value which do not contain a point, the value which do not contain a point or decimal, that is called as an integer value. And here 10, it comes under byte range. Here you can see that it comes under byte range. We know that the range of byte is -128 to 127. So the maximum value what we can use is 127. So here we have used 10. Let us compile the program. Here you can see that it's showing class compiled, no syntax error, right? Now instead of 10, you can use 100. Let's again compile the program. Again, no syntax error. Let us use 127. Compile the program, no syntax error. And when you use 128, now it will give you an error. Okay. Incompatible types, possible lossy conversion from int to byte. What do you mean by incompatible types? Incompatible types means this is called as data type, right? Incompatible types. What do you mean by this? It is showing you an error that this is an integer value 128. I have told you that by default all the numbers are an integer number. Okay, whenever no point value is used, it is by default considered as an integer number. So here it is showing you an error that this is an integer number which cannot be converted to byte automatically. The reason is you have crossed the limit of byte. What is the limit of byte? That is 127, and you have crossed the limit of byte, so this value cannot be used in byte. This is what you are getting an error. The maximum value that can be used, that is 127. Now let us compile the program. Here you can see the maximum value what we can use here is 127. The minimum value what we can use here is minus 128. Now let us use minus 127. It can be compiled. Minus 128, this can be compiled, and when you use minus 129, this again here you are going to get an error. What will be the error? As I have told you that whenever you get an error, whenever you write a value, any value which do not contain a point, that is considered as an integer value. Here minus 129 do not contain a point, right? This is considered as an integer value, and we know that integer value cannot be converted to byte directly. Here in compatible types, the value what you have used, and here the data type what you are using, both are incompatible. They are not compatible to each other. This is an integer value which crossed the limit of byte. Minus 129 cannot be stored to byte data type. So this is going to give you an error, right? Now you will ask me, sir, is there any way that we can convert minus 129 in the range of byte? Okay, these things we are going to cover in our upcoming videos. But for the time being, you just have to remember that as we are crossing the limit of byte, this is showing you an error. That is, int cannot be converted to byte, or int cannot be directly converted to byte because both are incompatible to each other. This is int and this is byte. Here you have to remember that byte size is 8-bit and integer size or int size is 32-bit. Okay, so the size of int is much bigger than byte. Okay, whenever you consider any integer value, int size is 32-bit, whereas byte size is 8-bit. So you can never store an integer value directly to byte. Okay, so for that we will use some mechanism. That mechanism will be discussed in upcoming videos. For the time being, just remember it is crossing the limit of, or it is crossing the range of byte. Why? This is the reason you are getting an error here. Now let's move to the next data type. The next data type is short. Here the next data type is short. Short size is 16-bit and the range is minus 32,768 to plus 32,767. This is the range. If you use any value beyond this, then it is going to give you an error. The maximum value what you can use is 32,767. The minimum value what you can use is minus 32,768. Now let us use this, then we will come to know. 32,767, and here we have minus 32,768. Now this is a comment line which I have written. And why this is a comment line? The reason is here we have used 2 forward slash, so this is called as single line comment. And whenever we write a comment line, it is never executed by the compiler, right? Here let us use short. Short is the data type. Again, short is a data type, a is a variable, and here we can use values. So when we use 1000 and compile the program can be compiled. Now instead of 1000 you can use 32,767. Again the program can be compiled, but you use any value greater than this, then it is going to give you an error. Now let us use, instead of 68, 32,768. Obviously 32,768 is greater than 32,767. It will give you an error. Now what the error we are going to get here, as I have told you, this value is greater than short, isn't it? This value is greater than the range of short. So the value do not contain a point, so this is considered as an integer value or int value. Here you are going to get an error, that is incompatible type, possible lossy conversion from int to short. Okay, int value cannot be converted to short directly. Possible lossy conversion from int to short. Let us compile this program. Incompatible types, possible lossy conversion from int to short. This is what you are going to get an error. Now if you put a negative sign here, the program can be compiled, because in negative sign the minimum value what we can use is 32,768. But if you go beyond this 69 or 70, if you use anything, if you use any other value, then it is going to give you an error. Again, possible lossy conversion from int to short. This is how our short data type can be used in Java. Coming to the next data type, that is int. Integer int, or that is called as integer data type. Int, the size of int is 32-bit. These size you have to remember, students. Range you have to remember in terms of examination, both size, range and default value. Here what you see, the default value, it is important. I will discuss about this default value. After discussing about all the data types, I will tell you what do you mean by default value. So here for a data type, you have to remember the size, you have to remember the range, as well as you have to remember the default value of a data type. Size of integer data type or int data type, you can say, that is 32-bit. 32-bit is equals to 4 bytes. Remember, it is equals to 4 bytes, or you can say 32-bit. In exam, you can get a question that what is the size of int in byte, or what is the size of int in bit, they can ask you. So if a question is asked in terms of bit, then you can write 32-bit. If it is asked in terms of byte, then you can write 4 byte. It is up to you. Here the range what can be used is, here the range is to -21474836482 plus 21474836447. This is the range which can be used in int. Please make sure this is the max, this is the minimum range, this is the maximum range, this is the minimum value, and this is the maximum value which can be used in int. Here we are going to discuss a lot of things about int, so please keep in mind this is the range which can be used in int. Now let us look to this with an example. This is an integer variable. Here the variable is integer type, or you can say int type. And what is the maximum value you can use here? Maximum value is 21474836647. This is the maximum value which can be used in an integer variable. If you have an integer variable or an int variable, you can say, the maximum value which you can use here, that is 21474836467. When we consider the integer data type, the maximum value that can be used here is 21474836647. Now let us compile the program, and here you can see that it's showing that no class compiled and no syntax error. This shows that the maximum value what we can use here is 21474836647. Now instead of this, if you change this 7 to 8, instead of 7 if you use here 8, then you are going to get an error. Now you must be wondering what kind of error you are going to get here. The reason is, when no point value is used, when no decimal value is used, it is by default considered as an integer number. So there is no doubt that this is an integer number. Students, do not confuse yourself with an integer number and int. The number in general, a number which do not contain a point value, is always considered as an integer number. Now an integer number can be stored to int, right? So there is a range of int, or you can say there is a range of int, or there is a maximum value which can be used in int and a minimum value which can be used in int data type. Now when you cross that range, surely you will get an error. Here you can notice that we have crossed that range. Here we have taken a value which is greater than 2147 483 647. Basically we have crossed the range. So what can be used, what error we are going to get here? In previous cases we were getting an error that is int to byte, possible lossy conversion from int to byte, possible lossy conversion from int to short. But in this case you can think that it is never going to show you an error that is possible lossy conversion from int to int. The reason is, in the left side we are having an int data type, in the right side we are having an integer value. Obviously this integer value is greater than the range of int. There is no doubt that this integer value is greater than the range of int. But what error it's going to show you? It will never show you possible lossy conversion from int to int. Now what error we are going to get here? The error is integer value too large, or you can get an error int value too large. Let us compile the program. Here you can say integer number too large. Okay, so this is going to give you an error that integer number too large. What do you mean by integer number too large, or why it is showing you an error integer number too large? The reason is, it is showing you cannot use such a big integer number in Java. In Java, the maximum integer number which can be written, that is 2147 483 647, right? So in Java you can never use such a big integer number. The maximum integer number that can be used in Java, that is 2147 483 647. So here there is no question of converting an integer number to another integer number. There is no question. Why we cannot convert? Look, the first thing is we cannot represent such a big integer number. Okay, the maximum integer number that can be represented in Java, that is 2147 483 647. First of all, you cannot represent such a big integer number. Now if you cannot represent such a big integer number, then how can you store it to an integer variable or an int variable? So basically here you have to remember the maximum integer number, the maximum int number which can be taken in Java, which can be written in Java, that is 2147 483 647. Precisely, you have to remember, this is very important in terms of examination, that 2147 483 648 is the maximum value or the maximum range that can be used for an integer variable or an integer data type, or you can say int data type. You cannot have more than this, or you cannot have more than this number. You cannot have a number bigger than 7 2147 483 647. You cannot have a bigger than this number an integer value, or you can say that you cannot have a value that is greater than 2147 483 647 in form of integer. In the form of integer, the maximum number that can be used in Java, that is 2147 483 647. So when you write a number which is greater than this, it shows you an error that is integer number too large. Now the minimum number what we can use here is minus 2147 483 648. This is the minimum integer number that can be used in Java. Let us compile the program. The program is compiling. Now if you use a number which is less than this, now let us use a number which is less than this, again you are going to get an error that is integer number too large. Let us compile the program. Here you get an error that is integer number too large. This is how you can represent an integer number in Java. So the maximum integer number that can be used, that is 2147 483 647, and the minimum number that can be used, that is minus 2147 483 648. You cannot use a number greater than this or less than this. I hope this part is clear to you. Now you must be thinking that if we cannot represent a number greater than this, then if we want to represent our phone number, then how it can be represented here? Because usually our phone number contains 10 digits first of all, and it basically starts from 9, 8, 7 or 6. So here if you count, total digits are 10 digits. Here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 digits are there, and here the first digit here you can see is 2. So even if you use a 10 digit number, then the maximum value can be this, but usually our phone number is greater than this number. Then how we can use a number, or how we can use our phone numbers here? If you want to store our numbers or phone numbers, how it can be used? Yes, there is a solution, there is a data type which is going to help you to store your phone numbers, right? That data type is long. Long is a data type which can store a very big number, or which can store a very long number, you can say, or very big long numbers can be stored to this. Please listen to my words very carefully. I'm telling you, long is such a variable which can store long numbers. I'm not telling you which can store integers, long integer value. Okay, although each and every numbers are integer here, every numbers, remember, all the numbers which do not contain a point value, that is integer, but here I am going to call it as long value. Well, I will show you why I am telling a long value. Now let us store a big number to a long, okay, to a long variable. So this is one of the number which I have stored it to a variable, that is a, and a is what type of variable? That is long type of variable. Students, this is very very important that remember, whenever you write a number here, okay, whenever you write a number here, any number that is written here, any value that is written here, okay, it is by default considered as an integer value if it do not contain a point. This do not contain a point, so this is considered as an integer value. Remember, first of all, this is considered as an integer value. Now let us forget sometimes let us forget that we have written long a equals to, and the value which you have written here, this is a value which is a very big integer number, and we know that such a big integer number cannot be used in Java. Okay, in Java the maximum integer number that can be used, that is 2147483647. The maximum number that can be used in Java, that is 2147483647. So if you use any number greater than this, look here, I will show you, 2147483647. This is the maximum number that can be used in Java, maximum integer number that can be used in Java. So when you compile the program, class get compiled and no syntax error. But when you use a number greater than this, okay, this number is not considered as an integer number, and we very well know that if a number do not contain any point value, then by default it is considered as an integer. So here you cannot represent such a big integer. If you want to represent such a big integer, then you have to tell the compiler that look, this is not an integer number, rather this is a long number. And to represent a long number, you have to write L. Okay, after the number you have to write L. A small l can be written or a capital L can be written. Whenever you want to represent a big number which is greater than the range of integer, or which is greater than the range of int, you have to write L beside this. The suffix what you have to use here is L. L is the suffix which we use in front of a long number or in front of a big number, because if you don't write L, then it will be considered as an integer value, and we know that in Java we don't have such a big integer value. This is the reason you are going to get an error, that is integer number too large. Again you are going to get a number that is integer number too large. The reason is here, first when compiler see that we have written such a number which do not comes under the range of integer, that is different thing, that this number can be stored to long or not, that is different thing, that is second part. But here when you see that we have written such a big number, when the compiler will see that when we have written such a big number, then it will come to know that we cannot store or we cannot write such a big number, we cannot represent such a big number or such a big integer number. We have to tell the compiler that look, this is not an integer number, rather this is a long number. To represent a long number we have to write L. So when you write L, you can represent any big number, or you can represent a very big number or very long number can be represented. Here when you write 2147483648, This will be now considered as long number because suffix L is written, by which the compiler will come to know that this is a long number, and when you have written a long number, that can be stored to a long variable. Now let us compile the program. Here you can see our program can be compiled, but if you remove L, then this will be considered as integer number, and we know that such a big number, such a big integer number cannot be represented in Java. Now if you have such a big integer number, then you have to convert this integer number to long number. Instead of converting this integer number, if you do something else, if you try to represent it directly, it is going to give you an error. So the only way a big integer number can be represented in Java, the way is you have to write L beside that. Okay. Here you have to write L beside the big number or the big integer number, or a long integer number, you can say a very big integer number if you want to write, then you have to write L beside that, then the program can be compiled. And instead of this number, if you write anything else, even if you write this, it can be represented. You can see such a big number is there. It is such a big number which cannot be represented in int, but you have to write L beside that. If you don't write L, then it is going to give you an error. If you remove L, we know that such a big integer number cannot be represented in Java. Here you are going to get an error, right? So to remove that error, to make the program error free, we have to write L beside the number. Let us compile the program, and here we can see that it is showing class compiled, no syntax error. This is how a long number can be represented. As I told you, whenever you write a number, by default it is considered as int, or you can say integer. Whenever you write a decimal value or a point value, by default it is considered as double. Just now we discussed everything about byte, short, int and long. Here you can note that long is the data type, the size is 64-bit, and here the maximum value what can be used is this much, this one, and the minimum value that can be used is this one. Okay, and here you can ask me, sir, if we have a number which is bigger than this, then what we are going to do? Students, remember, in terms of ICSE, in terms of ISC, you are never going to use a number which will be bigger than this or which will be less than this. Okay, now if I talk in terms of a professional programmer, then we have some user defined data type. Now what is user defined data type? We will discuss it in upcoming classes, in our upcoming videos. So in terms of user defined data type, if we have some user defined data types where we have some data types like big integer and all, okay, that is not at all important for you for class 9, for 10, 11 and 12, it is not at all important. So we have some data types like big integer and all where numbers greater than this can be represented, but you don't have to learn anything about big integer and all. Okay, that is being specially used by the programmers or professional programmers. Now in terms of ICSE, you just have to remember the range of long, the minimum range what is used here, and the maximum range which is used here. Okay, the next one that is float. Float is the next data type, but before discussing about float, first we will discuss about double. Remember, I will come to float after discussing about double. Double is the data type which can store number in 64-bit. The size of the double data type is 64-bit, and the maximum value that can be stored is 1.7e plus 308, and the minimum value that can be stored is minus 1.7e minus 308. What do you mean by e? I hope you know that e means 1.7 into 10 to the power 308. Okay, you can just think that what such a big number we can store. Okay, we can store what 1.7 into 10 to the power 308, that is we can have 308 zeros after 1.7. okay, after 1.7 we can have 308 zeros. Such a big number we can store. Now you must be comparing double with long. That's a long, double is 64-bit, yes, long is 64 bit, but here what we can say, range of double is much greater than long. What the number which can be stored in double, it is much bigger than long, isn't it? Now why it is why such a big number can be stored to double, but why not in long? The reason is, students, remember, when you store something in double, it gets stored, like if it is a very big number, then automatically in the memory it gets converted and it gets stored in terms of exponent or e. Okay, if you have a number like this, for example, I am telling you, if you have a number that is 70000.00, okay, so this can be stored like this, 7.0 into 10 to the power 5, that is 7.0 e5. You can see such a big number can be represented like this. This is the reason why here you can see that such a big range can be stored to a double data type, whereas in long we cannot store it in the form of exponent, or you cannot store in the form of e. That is the reason you can store you can have maximum value, that is 9223 372 036 854 775 807, whereas in double we can have a value where the maximum number of digits that can be used is 308 or 307 digits can be used. This is the reason why whenever you represent a very big number, you can store it in, also you can store it in the form of double. It can be stored in the form of double. But when we discuss about double, basically we have to store a point value to double. Remember, we have to store a point value to double. Now let us look to this with an example. Here we are going to write double a equals to, I am using a because I have a habit of writing a, but you can use here any variable. Now let us change the variable. Double as equals to 48.6. okay, let us compile the program. Here the program can be compiled, you can see, because we can store a point value to double. A double can store a point value. Byte can never store a point value. Sort can never store a point value. INT can never store a point value. Long can never store a point value. So if a question is asked, how many types of data type you have in integer, or the question can be asked, an integer value can be stored, in how many types of data types, or it will be asked how many integer data types you have. Okay, integer data types means in how many data types are there where directly value gets stored in the form of integer. We have byte, we have short, we have int, we have long. Okay, but here when you write 48.6, this is a decimal value, this is a point value gets stored to double. Okay, let us compile the program. The program is getting compiled. Now you must be thinking that, sir, instead of point value, if we write 48, what is going to happen? This program will compile or not? Because 48 is an integer value, isn't it? So is it going to compile, or it will give us an error that integer cannot be converted to double? Remember, the size of integer is how much? 32 bit. You can look here, the size of integer is 32 bit and the size of double is 64 bit, isn't it? So 32 bit value can be directly stored to 64 bit. There will be no error. You can directly store 32 bit to 64 bit. Okay, because this is a smaller size, this is a bigger size. But what's going to happen here is, when you will try to store 48 to double, instead of getting 48 will not get stored, rather the value which will store to as is 48.0. We know that as is a double variable, so when you store 48, it will get stored but in the form of double. So here the output what you are going to get, that is 48.0. Now let us execute this program and we will come to know. Here you can see that we are getting an output that is 48.0. Now when you write 48 point, 48.85, it will give you an output that is 48.85. It is giving an output 48.85. But instead of that, if you write an integer value that is 4, this integer value will automatically get converted to double value. We know that 4 is an integer value, and an integer value can be easily stored to double variable, but it can be stored in the form of double, or you can say it can be stored in the form of decimal value. Here let us compile the program and execute this 4.0. I hope the concept of double is quite clear to you. Now here I will show you one more thing, that if you are writing a value that is, let it be 2673.10. Here we have written 2673.10. So what is the value here? 2673.10, which can be stored to a variable that is AS. Let us compile the program. Program is getting compiled. In double, whenever you write a point value in Java, automatically it is considered as double. Whenever you write a point value in Java, it is automatically considered as double. Okay. Now here if you write D, capital D, then again this can be represented as double. Let us compile the program. Here you can see this number is represented as double. If you write small d, this is considered represented as double. If you don't write anything, again this will be considered as double. So a point value in Java is by default considered as double. You don't have to write D. If you are writing D, then precisely you are telling the compiler that look, this is a double number. Even if you don't write D, by default it is considered as double. Now in case of float, remember, in case of float, if you write AS equals to 2673.10, what do you think what's going to happen here? Be very clear that the size of float here, what you see here, the size of float or size of AS is 32-bit. Remember student, size of a float variable is 32-bit. We will see it in the slide that size of float value or size of float variable is 32-bit, whereas the number which is written here, look here, 2673.10, even if you don't write 2673, let us only write 2.1, let us write 2.1. Although we have written 2.1, it is a very small number which can be easily stored to a float variable. Here you will get an error. Why you are going to get an error? The reason is by default 2.1 is considered as double value. So when 2.1 is considered as double value, we know that double value can only be stored to 64-bit. Or size of 2.1, although 2.1 is a very small number, but 2.1 can be stored to double variable. Once again I am telling you, here when we write double AS equals to 2.1, let us see, when we write double AS equals to 2.1, here let us compile the program. This can be compiled, but instead of double, when you write float AS equals to 2.1, this is going to give you an error. Why it is going to give you an error? The reason is 2.1 is by default considered as double, and we know that a double cannot be stored to a float directly. The reason is double is 64-bit and float is 32-bit. You can never accommodate for 64-bit to 32-bit. For that, what you have to write here, you have to tell the compiler, look, this is not a double value, rather this is a float value. So whenever you write a point value in terms of float, whenever you write a point value or you want to represent a point value in terms of float, you have to write capital F or you have to write small f. If you don't write capital F or small f, it is going to give you an error, that is double cannot be converted to float. So possible lossy conversion from double to float. Incompatible types, possible lossy conversion from double to float. This number, what you see here, the decimal value what you see here is in the form of double. It cannot be stored to float directly. Here 2.1 is considered as a double value. By default it is considered as a double value. It cannot be stored to float. You have to write F, then the program can be compiled. Right? So whenever you write a float value, try to write F beside that. And if you cannot write, or if you forget to write F, if you get a habit or generate a habit of not writing f, then better instead of representing it in double float, you can represent it in double. This is how you can represent a double value and a float value. Now let us once again revise this, whatever we did right now. Let us revise this once again. We have a data type that is byte. Then we have a data type byte, which can store a small integer value. Then we have this, when we discussed about short, which can store a little bit big value than byte. Okay. After that we discussed about int, which can store a very big number, a very big integer number. Okay, big integer numbers can be stored here in int. And if you really want to store your phone number or a very big number that is greater than 9 digits or 10 digits, then you can use long here. But when you use long, then be very careful that while using long you have to write L beside that, otherwise it will give you an error. Okay. Then after that we can use float to represent a point value. But when you represent float, when you write float, then you can write a point value, but beside that you have to write f, otherwise it will give you an error. The reason is, by default this is considered as double, and double cannot be stored to float. Now when you write double here, double f equals to 8.3, you can write d or you can remove d. Even if you remove d, by default it will be considered as double, and we know that 8.3 can be easily stored to f, or double value can be easily stored to a double data type. Now if you write f here, 8.3f, then 8.3f is a float value, isn't it? And a float value can be easily stored to a double variable. The reason is, float is of 32-bit and double is of 64-bit. The size of float is obviously smaller than, much smaller than the double value or the double size. 8.3 can be easily stored to float variable. Let us compile this program. Here you can see the program is getting compiled. This is how we can use these 6 data types. Okay, I hope that the point is quite clear to you how the data types can be used. Coming to the next data type, that is char. Char is another data type. The size of char is 16-bit. Look here, the size of char is 16-bit. Here the maximum value what you can use here is 65,535. 65,535 is the maximum value what can be used, and the minimum value is 0. 0 is the minimum value which can be used in char. Now when I say that 65,535, and here we have written unsigned. Unsigned means we cannot use negative numbers here, so unsigned is written. And here you must be thinking that, sir, this is a character and character must be enclosed within single quotes. Then how can we write 65,535? Well, we cannot use directly here 65,535, or we cannot use 500 here directly. What can be used? What we can do is, we can use a character, and the ASCII value of character is must lie between 0 to 65,535. Now let us look to this with an example so that the things will be more crystal clear to you. Here when we write char and a, let us replace char ch. Let the variable be ch, and here we write f. Okay, so ch is the variable which stores a value or which stores a character, that is f. You can print this system.out.println, and you can write here ch. Let us compile this program. Yes, the program is getting compiled, and when you print this, it will give you a value that is f. Right, now you must be thinking that, sir, how we can get the ASCII value of f, or how we can retain the ASCII value of f, because as we discussed that the maximum value that can be used here is 65,535. So if we can use 65,535, then how we will come to know that which value or which character represents 65,535. Students, remember there will be few ASCII values whose characters you cannot see in the screen. Okay, that is for other reason, I'm not going to discuss here. But basically you must be confused that here an integer value is given, whereas we are representing f here, we are representing a character here, so both are quite different to each other. Okay, we compiled the program and both are quite different to each other. So for this, what I can do is, look, you can convert each and every character value to its integer form. How to convert this to its integer form? Simply what you can do is, f is a character, or you can say f is an alphabet which gets stored to ch. Ch is a variable which stores f, right? F is a variable, or you can say f is a character which is getting stored to ch. Here what you can write, int a equals to ch. Look, this is very important. It is quite important. Please look to this very carefully. Ch is a variable, right? Which type of variable? Character variable. F is a character. F is such a character which can get stored to ch, right? And when we print ch, it is printing f. Now ch is such a variable which contains f, and you are trying to store ch to int. Int can store integer value. Okay, when you store ch, that shows that you are trying to store f to a, isn't it? You are trying to store f to a. You are trying to store f to a. Here you are trying to store f to a, isn't it? This is a variable a which is trying to store ch, and with what is stored in ch, that is f. You can write like this, or you can write like this. A is a variable. What type of variable? Int variable, which can store a character value. You must be thinking that's how it is possible that int is a variable which is supposed to store an integer value. But how can you store a character to that? Yes, a character can be stored, but when you will store a character to a, it will get converted to its integer form. Remember, it will get converted to its integer form. Okay. Now let us compile this program and let us print it. Okay. So here I am compiling the program. Look to this very carefully. This is very important. When we execute this, here you can see it is printing f and 102. Why it is printing 102? Because we know that the ASCII value of f is 102, or the integer value of f is 102. So here let me write some integer value, some ASCII value here. Capital A ASCII value is 65 and capital Z ASCII value is 90. So capital V ASCII value is 66, capital C ASCII value is 67, capital D ASCII value is 68, and so on. Small a ASCII value is 97, small z ASCII value is 122, and 0, the number that is 0, the ASCII value of 0 is 47, the ASCII value of 9 is 56. I hope this is quite clear to you. So instead of f, if you write small a, okay, here a will get printed, isn't it? We are printing ch, but here we are trying to convert this a, or you can say ch, to integer format. Here we are trying to store it to an integer variable. When we are trying to store it to an integer variable, that is a, it will get converted to its integer form or ASCII form. What is the ASCII form of a or ASCII value of small a? That is 97. Let us compile this program. Here you can see a, the ASCII value of a is 97, right? And here if you write, for example, if you write 8, what will be the ASCII value of 8? If the ASCII value of 9 is 56, then ASCII value of 8 will be 55. Oh, I'm sorry. Here I have made a mistake. Here the ASCII value starts from 48. The ASCII value of 0 is 48 and the ASCII value of 9 is 57. I hope this is quite clear to you. So instead of 8, if you write 0 here, let us compile the program, and here you can see it is printing 48, right? It is printing 48 here. This is how you can get the ASCII value of all the characters. And whenever you want to represent a character, if you want to represent a character within this, here if you want to represent a character, then what you have to do is simply represent the character within a single quotes here and just print it. And if you want to get the ASCII value of that, then convert that character to integer form. Now you can get ASCII value of anything. If you want to get ASCII value of ampersand, here this is one of the character. It is not mandatory that you have to use the alphabets and you have to use numbers. You can use any character here, but remembering the ASCII value is not at all important. You just have to remember the ASCII value from capital A to capital Z, small a to small z, 0 to 9, and another one that is space. The ASCII value of space is 32. Here ch equals to ampersand. You can get the ASCII value of ampersand. Once again, the ASCII value of ampersand is 38. Similarly, we can get the ASCII value of a period, dot you can say. Let us compile the program. Here the ASCII value of period or the dot is 46. Similarly, you can get the ASCII value of single quotes itself. But remember, single quotes cannot be written directly. The reason is the compiler will think that single quote is starting here and single quote is ending here. Then what is the use of this single quote? Okay, so here you have to use the concept of escape sequence. Single quotes can be used, but taking the help of escape sequence. So this will try to break the normal flow of single quote. So backslash single quote will be considered as a single character, that is single quote. You can compile the program. Single quote will get printed here, and you can get the ASCII value of single quote. Here you get the ASCII value of single quote here. Okay, that is 39. So this is how you can get the ASCII value of everything. You must be thinking that, sir, if we try to get the ASCII value of all the alphabets, all the special characters, all the numbers, then hardly it will go up to 122, or it will go to 128 or 130, not more than that. Then what is the use of having such a big integer value here? Okay, here you can see what is the use of having such a big number. Students, don't think only in terms of an alphabet. Don't think only in terms of English alphabets or English characters. We have lot more characters than English alphabets or English characters. We have characters written in Hindi, we have characters written in Odia, we have character written in Malayalam, we have characters written in Telugu, Tamil, we have several characters. So all the character, it comes under 65,535. So if you have something written in Hindi, you can simply write a character that is in Hindi, and that you can get the ASCII value of that character. Well, for an example, I will show you. Here what I am going to do is, I will represent the rupee sign. Okay, this is the latest rupee sign. I am going to copy this rupee sign from here, and let us paste it here inside this. Okay, this is the rupee sign. You can also get the ASCII value of this rupee sign. When you will print ch, it will print rupee here. Unclose, it's showing. Just a second. Okay, here we get. You can represent the rupee sign here. Let us compile this program. Here you can see it is getting compiled. It will get stored to ch, and then ch, here you can see when it will print rupee sign, and after that it will try to convert it to its ASCII value. Here what is the ASCII value of rupee sign? 8377. So there are many characters whose ASCII value you can get. Okay, directly you can find the ASCII value of the characters. Similarly, here you can get the ASCII value of some Hindi characters. If you know some Hindi characters, if you know some Odia characters, Tamil, Telugu, or what you can do, you can simply do one thing, copy a single character from internet, just Google some Hindi characters, copy it and paste it here. Instead of rupee sign, paste it here and try to find the ASCII value of those characters. You can find ASCII value of each and every character that exists. Remember, any character that can be written in computer, any character that can be written in computer, you can find its ASCII value. So we have such a big integer, you can say that range of char or character. The reason is you can store values to that. You can just represent each and every characters which exist in the world or which exist for a computer system, right? Now coming to the next, that is Boolean. This is the last data type which can be used, that is Boolean. When we write Boolean, Boolean can only store two values. That is Boolean, it can only store two values, that is true or false. Instead of true and false, you cannot store anything. If you write Boolean a equals to true, and here you can compile the program. You can write true or you can write false. Okay, you can write true or you can write false. It cannot store anything else. Do not think that instead of true we can write 1 and instead of true false we can write 0, because here 0 will be considered as an integer value and it will give you an error, that is possible lossy conversion from int to boolean. Here you can see int cannot be converted to boolean. In compatible types, integer number cannot be converted to boolean. Even you cannot convert it. Okay, here false or we can write true. Here we can compile the program. I hope this part is quite clear to you, that a boolean variable can only store two values, that is true or false. Instead of true and false, you cannot store anything else. Nothing else can be stored here. Here when we discuss about Boolean is of 1 bit. Remember, it is of 1 bit. Okay, even it is of not 8 bit, it is only of 1 bit because it can only store true or false. So it is of 1 bit. It can only store true or false. Here this true will be in small letter and this false will be in small letter. F is in small letter. It is not in capital letter. Okay, this is in small letter, small t, and this is small f. And here again this is small f here. Okay, so whenever you want to store a value to Boolean, only you can store true or false, and the default value is false. Here you have 1 bit, the default value, and the size is 1 bit. One thing to remember or one thing to note, that is Boolean size isn't something that is precisely defined. Why I have written this? Because some programmers, they believe that it is not 1 bit, rather this is 8 bit. Okay, some programmer believe it is not 1 bit, that it is 8 bit. So we are not going to discuss much about the size of Boolean. It is written here, size isn't something that's precisely defined. Okay, so still Boolean, we consider that it is 1 bit, but few programmers are there, even in few books you might find it is written 8 bit. But according to me, if you ask me, then what is the exact size of Boolean, even I feel or I think that the Boolean size is 1 bit. Okay, so in exam if it comes that what is the size of Boolean, then write 1 bit, or you just write the size of Boolean is 1 bit and the default value is false. Now what do you mean by default value? Let us discuss about default value here. In a program, we know that a class contains two things, that is data members and member method. This is called as method or member method, and the other one is data member. Here we can write data member. When you write something here, this is called as data member. Okay, this is called as data member. Then you must be thinking that, sir, what is the difference of writing a variable here and what is the difference of writing a variable here? What is the difference? Well, the difference we will come to know in the upcoming videos. We will discuss about local variable and we will discuss about global variables or instance variable. Then you will try to know about the difference of local variable and global variable, or you can say instance variable. For the time being, I am not going to discuss anything about local variable and global variable. Here, when you have a global variable, or you can say data member, this can be called as data member, or you can call it as global variable, or you can call it as instance variable. Data member, global variable, or you can call it as instance variable, anything. When you have a variable here, okay, and if you have not stored anything to this variable, and if you try to print this, let me remove a static from here or you can write a static here. Well, why do we write static here? The reason is here the member method contains a static keyword, and please remember that a variable, a normal variable cannot be written inside a static method. You cannot call a normal variable, or you cannot write a normal variable inside this static method if it is not static. Well, these things we are going to discuss in class 10. What is the exact use of static, how we can use objects and all. But for the time being, I'm showing you an example that how the data members, global variable, instance variable can be used. So here I'm showing you with an example, right? Static, here I'm going to write static. Do not worry that why we have written static here. These things we will cover in class 10. Please do not try to confuse yourself that why we have written static here and all. Simply for the time being, what you can remember that, what you can think that here the main method is written with static keyword, so we are writing static here. But I will show you some other examples in class 10 how we can use a non-static variable from a static context and all. And if I don't write static here, if it is going to give me an error here, okay, we are getting an error. So not to get this error, I'm going to write static here. The program can be compiled. So when this a do not contains a variable, do not contains a value. So when no value is assigned to a, it will automatically have 0, right? The default value of a will be 0. The reason is it is an integer value, and we know that the default value of an integer is 0. And if you write double here, default value of double is 0.0. You can compile this program and execute. Here we are getting 0.0. Similarly, the default value of, here we can have char, and the default value of char is null. And when I say null, nothing will get printed. Okay, null is represented with such a character which will be not visible to you, so nothing will get printed. The terminal window will open here, and here you can see nothing is getting printed. That represent that this is a null character. The default value of a char is null. Similarly, the default value of boolean is false. Here when we execute this program, it is printing false. This is the use of the default values. When you have a data member, global variable and instance variable, and if you have not assigned any value to that, then you can say that a default value will be assigned to that, and that default value will get printed. But instead of this, if I assign anything to this, if I write int a equals to 100, then instead of printing 0, now it will print 100 because I have assigned a value, right? If I don't assign anything, then by default it will print 0 here. So the default value of byte is 0, default value of short is 0, default value of int is 0, default value of long is 0l. Although it is 0l, but it will not print l, only it will show you 0. Remember, it is not going to show you 0l, rather it will show you 0, which is represented as l. Float is 0.0 f, but it will not print f, it will only show you 0.0. In double it will show you 0.0. Boolean, the default value is false, and in char the default value is null. Here you can see the default value is null. So this is all about primitive data types. In the next video session, we are going to discuss about non-primitive data types, and we will see few important things of primitive data types. For the time being, this is end of this video. Stay tuned with me for my next video. God bless you all.